tricky descent task in Costa Atardecer, Chiapas. Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of SnowRunner here at OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. Got to the sawmill here late last night, got sent out for a special little task, and it's early in the morning. We're in our Avenhorn A15, just leaving the sawmill in the north entrance there. We're in the top right hand corner, pretty close on the map, and we've got a Chevrolet CK1500 that went off the road. He's down a little ravine and he's pretty low, so they told us to go out and take a look and see if we can pull him up out of the ravine and then deliver him over to the village riverbank just south of the sawmill. So like I said, we're in our Avenhorn A15 and we're running out there and I'm going to go and take a look and see if we can pull this truck up out of the ditch. Now, I was pretty sure that you're not going to be able to reach him with a winch, even if you back your truck down a little bit. And you'll see once we get there, even if you put the back end of your truck down the ravine a little bit, I think the winch will be a little short. So I decided to take a truck with one of the industrial cranes that the Avenhorn has. Now the Avenhorn's a short frame truck, nice wide stance, so nice and stable to try and pull that Chevy up. A little bit too wide for some spots, but doable. And you got to really watch out for the turning radius, because this truck doesn't turn on a dime like the Ford 750 Scout. So you have to kind of be prepared for that. But other than that, he's very capable of going across these roads. You know he's got lots of power. You know he's got lots of fuel. If the Avenhorn can't do it, it's going to be a really tough go, I believe. But we'll see when we get there. Now we're getting close to it. As you can see, the little spyglass in the yellow diamond is on the screen, so it must mean we're not too far away. And I think it's pretty close to just around the corner here somewhere. Now once we get there, we are going to have to drive by it and find there's a little flat area just past it. We're going to have to turn the truck around because we got to pull it south of the sawmill. So we got to come back exactly the same way that we're going right now. So there's no point in trying to pull them out of there until we're pointing in the right direction. Now this here little bump, I got stuck there a little bit. Didn't quite have the front tires turned sharp enough to get up on the road there. So like I said, sometimes the turning radius in this truck is one of its biggest drawbacks when you're traveling on tiny little roads like this. Anyhow, the ravine is just up here on the left hand side, and you should be able to see the truck in a second here. There he is, you can just see a little bit of him. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and turn the truck around, turn the Avenhorn around so we can get ready and put it in place. And it looks like there's a little bit of area right here. Yeah, right here. We can turn it around right here. We got enough room here. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're going to place the truck in such a way that he's good and stable. We won't even have to use the stabilizer bars on the crane itself. We're just going to put it so that the nose is going up the hill a little bit. I think about right there looks good. And as you can see, he's quite a ways down, and I don't think the winch would have reached him. But let's give it. The crane's already reaches him from there. We're going to extend it a little bit. I'm just going to pull them. The idea is to pull them up as close to the truck as possible, then hook the winch onto them and recover the crane, and then pull them the rest of the way. But we'll see. We'll see how this works. Now we're just going to pull them over a little bit towards the back end, because of course when we start pulling them, we don't want to drag them against the rock there. I mean, about right there looks good. Now restore the crane. And we got the car hooked up, and let's see if that's going to work. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now it was starting to get pretty dark there, so I thought I changed the time, and that way we can see a little bit better where we're going, because this road, like I said, if you noticed on the way down, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky in places, and now you gotta think about that you're pulling a car behind you, so you don't want to have him dragging over rocks and through holes behind you. You want to try and do it the right way. And here we are on our way back up over top of the hill towards the sawmill. And then once we get back to the sawmill, we're going to drive straight through. We're going to continue to head on south. We're on the right-hand side of the map, and we're pretty much going to go straight along the side towards about half, 3/4 of the way down, I suppose, until we get to the village riverbank. That's where we're going to drop them off. Hopefully we're going to be able to manage that today. I just love these new regions, the new maps, especially Chiapas here. The jungle sounds. I don't think it's really a jungle, but it's more like a tropical area, and you got the banana trees and the animals to the birds flying around. It just looks absolutely awesome. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous map. Now some of these areas like this, like I said, you know, they're a little tough, but just go a little bit slower and the Avenhorn should have no problems with it. Or most trucks shouldn't have any problems with it, unless maybe you go to the really big ones. But most of the tasks, if you take your time, the Avenhorn is capable of doing most of these jobs. So here we're turning off, and just up around the corner there, up in front of us, we'll be able to see the sawmill. Well, but first we get stuck up against a rock. It does make for some interesting turns, twists and turns along the way, because there's not a lot of room to try and get your vehicle through some of these areas when you're using the big trucks, that is. But we got through it, and there's a sawmill, and we're just going to keep right on chugging now until we get down to that village riverbank. There's a couple of more areas to be aware of when you're doing this task that we'll mention as we come to them. And we just left here this morning not too long ago. And I do believe the hardest part of the journey is done. There's the Plaid 450. There's medium logs on the back of his deck. Now some of these trails are still going to be fairly tight turns, even for the Avenhorn. And if you misjudge when you make a turn, you're going to have to jockey your truck back and forth because of the fact that the Avenhorn can't turn quite as tight. But if you give him a little bit of room, I tell you, he's one of the top trucks in my garage. He does quite well in this cross-country terrain, and like I said, he's got a great range. He's got a 400-liter tank of fuel, and he's in his universal compartment behind the cab. He's got another 300, that makes 700, and then on the fender on either side, he's got two jerry cans of 40 liters each. That makes another 160. So in my books, that's 860 liters of fuel. That's a pretty big range for this truck. And you can either put a flat deck on them, or you can put a fifth wheel and a crane on them. You can't get a flat deck and a crane, unfortunately, which would be nice, but that's okay. Now you see there was a couple of little spots there along the way that could be a little issue, but the Avenhorn climbs right over top of it. Then here we get a little area of the road going back and forth and tight turns, and well, let's see how the Avenhorn does. Well, that turn wasn't too bad, but there's a really tight one at the bottom here that goes back towards the right-hand side. Well, he's doing okay. I think the Avenhorn did okay there. Now the drop-off box has appeared on the map, the black arrow and the yellow diamond on the right-hand side of the screen. But of course, as you all know, that is as the crow flies, and we got to go as the Avenhorn drives. Now, whenever you're coming down to the little village riverbank area, whatever you want to call it, first you got a little area here where the bridge is out, so you're going to have to go into the water. You got no choice in the matter. The road goes straight, but like I said, just on the peak there that the bridge is out, so we go through the water over here. Now, I recently found out, this is before I did this video, right here, if you go on the right-hand side rather than the left, which is what I did, if you go around this tree in this little area on the right-hand side, the area underneath the water has a lot more traction, and you go through it quite a bit quicker. But I didn't find this out until later videos, but I wanted to let you know now, and that way you can try the other side. Although this side wasn't bad. And I really don't know how much use that truck is going to be after it gets dragged through all this water, and it's like completely submerged. But I guess they have to have it. Now we're just gonna continue on in the water here until just past that last bush on the left-hand side with the tree right behind it. This one that we're coming up to on our left-hand side, not right. Just up here. We're gonna take a turn tight to the left, and then there's a place to get back up on the track. Now once you've gotten this far, the little city is not that far away. But the best thing to do, now you can see on the right hand side there, you can see a water tower. And you want to go in the back route past the water tower. Because if you continue to follow the track, it'll lead you back into the water again. And we'd like to try and avoid the water as much as we can. So if we climb in the back way here, then go past the water tower, and then drive along here until you hit that third building on the right hand, second building on the right hand side, and turn right here. It'll take you right to the Village River Bank at the end of the road. Just over top of the bridge there and to the left. And we're there. And no, this bridge is not a breakaway bridge. I've tried it a few times and I went over it really slowly to make sure it wasn't a breakaway bridge. And it's fine. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe got some tips out of it for yourself, or if anybody else you know is playing SnowRunner, share it with them, like it, hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on any upcoming videos, and we got some good ones coming up. Until then, we've been delivering a Chevrolet CK1500 that drove off the road. We pulled it out of the ravine with the Avenhorn A15 and drove it over here. With me as your driver, the Opafat.